Great. Steve, we seem to be in a new age of healthcare advancement where cross-sector collaboration is driving innovation. What are some examples of collaborations that you've seen in your work at Matter that could be indicative of the future?
Yeah, well, I mean, for us, collaboration is just like baked into our DNA. And I think, if you're a healthcare company, healthcare organization, and you aren't collaborating cross sector, then you're in big trouble. And I think that there are a couple of reasons for that. One is something we talked about earlier, which is around payment models and the evolution of payment models, and really this slow-ish but movement towards value-based care, and a switch towards a system where healthcare payments are based on value that's created, not activities that are performed. The only way to really do that is through collaborations. The only way to figure out a different way to share risk is through collaboration. So whether that's between pharma companies and insurance companies, or providers and pharma and insurance and PBMs, and there are a lot of different models that we've seen that are enabling different risk sharing arrangements in one way or another. We've seen Livongo as an example. They've changed they've sort of a trendsetter in a pricing model so that employers don't pay for all of their employees, only the ones that are using the services, and there's a risk share component built into that. We've seen pharma, you're no doubt familiar, pharma and insurance collaborations where there are certain kinds of drugs where pharma companies effectively don't get paid unless the drug actually works for the person. One of our member companies is doing something very similar in collaboration with health systems and medical device manufacturers. So they enable risk sharing so that those two can come together, and they have the technology that powers it. So there's risk sharing based on the clinical performance of those medical devices. Second, and just as important, is that big companies inherently can't innovate fast enough to keep up with the evolving potential of emerging technologies. It's just, large organizations, in order to function very well as a large organization, there are things that you have to have in place that make it just inherently very difficult to innovate at the same rate and the same speed with which a small entrepreneurial company can do it. And the opportunities there on both sides of that equation are just tremendous, because the entrepreneurs really can't know exactly how to position and develop and evolve their products unless they're getting input from large established players. And the bigger companies can really benefit from the speed and the nimbleness of entrepreneurs. And so we've seen a ton of really exciting collaborations along that vein, and I hope that we're going to see a lot more, because we really see that as a path to much faster and much more efficient development and adoption of new technologies that can really improve health and healthcare, both from an outcomes perspective and from an economic perspective.
So it sounds like we really need an eagerness from all parties to kind of come together and figure out ways to collaborate for better outcomes for everyone, all of the various actors in the ecosystem.